Alrighty, everyone, we're going to get started. It's 1:55 on the dot, so I want to be respectful of your time. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today. This is the second time I do this training, so if you only got to do the last part of the training earlier this morning, welcome back. And if not, I'm very excited for you to see this resource that I have available for you. It's really, really neat. It's something that's different, and I actually found it on social media and I just thought it was really, really neat and I wanted to share. And so we're going to get started. So if you've noticed on the chat, Debbie already included the professional development link. If you have not registered for today's sessions, please go ahead and do so. This will allow you to be able to win some door prizes at the end. So make sure you do that if you haven't done so. The link is on there and the check-in code is TECH24. And so if you're on the PD system, you're going to see that check-in code or that remote check-in link will be right here on this side. Alrighty, so today's session will be on School AI. And like I mentioned, it's a website available for all teachers and students. My name is Jeanette Mijares. I am at Palacios Elementary. This will be my 10th year, so I'm excited about that. I've been a CIT for 9 years as well, and this year I get to do something a little different. I get to be in the science lab. I've never done science lab before, but I'm excited to try that out and see how that works. I've been out of the classroom for about 2.5 years. I was an IB coach, and so kind of going back, it's really exciting because I get to do all these fun things with my kiddos again. So let's get started. So like I mentioned, we are going to be working on a website called School AI. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a PowerPoint first about what we are going to cover. I will share it with you in case you would like to use this in your classroom or you would like to explore a little more on your own. You will be able to do that. And so I'm going to just kind of touch base real quick on the PowerPoint presentation. And then afterwards, we're going to go through the actual website and I'll make it interactive where you will be able to join and kind of take part in some of those sessions and that we're going to be working on with School AI. So School AI, it's artificial intelligence, but it's really, really neat because it's tailored for students and teachers. It's not something that your students just have a wide range of doing or researching. You have control over what they are going to be researching and looking into. And so that's obviously very important, especially because we have some students that are very curious and they like to go out. And so sometimes kind of letting them roam around on Google, it could be a little scary. This kind of narrows it down for you and it makes it appropriate and for your students. And so that's really exciting. So the first thing that we're going to go, this is what the website looks like when you first go in. It, like I said, it's called School AI and we have access with our district credentials. So the moment that we go into the website, you're going to click sign in. It's going to ask you for your credentials and you will just type in your PSJA account. And then from there, like I mentioned, we're going to only cover 3 sections today. And the reason for that, it's because it's a lot of information and I want you to get the most out of it without getting confused or overwhelmed with it. The first one that we are going to cover is Sidekick, and this is actually what I had found first. Like I mentioned, I came across a social media post by a girl I follow, and she was using Sidekick, and I thought it was really neat. Sidekick, basically what it is, it's basically your students being able to interact with AI with this little robot called Sidekick. And you're able to assign different topics for your students, and you're able to tailor it to their grade level. You're able to do it in English and Spanish. And it does have differentiation opportunities available for them, meaning you do have a text-to-speech and a speech-to-text concept on there where they're able to utilize that. And I know it's very important, especially with our students and their IEPs. And so that's going to be the first thing that we do. And so, like I mentioned, you're able to tailor it to your students and their needs. And so once you go into your Sidekick link, you will come in here. It's going to ask you the topic that you want to cover. So this is where it starts to kind of remove all that excess information that you might find on Google and all that kind of stuff. You can put it on here. So for example, if you're talking about, I don't know, landforms, or you're talking about life cycles or so on and so forth, This is where you will focus on that. It asks you for a class description. So it could be your grade level. It could be the type of students you're servicing, if they're bilingual or so on and so forth, and how long you want it to kind of go on and so forth. How do you want them to interact with them? So if you want Sidekick to be funny with them, or if you want them to be encouraging, or maybe more caring, those are different tones that you're able to set on your Sidekick. And it also provides, let me see, rules. So you can set rules for sidekicks. So for example, let's say kids start to get curious and they start to ask, what is Superman's favorite color? You could tell sidekick, even though that's a question maybe a child may have and they might find interesting, try to avoid it. The good thing is it will not answer any inappropriate questions, and it will not use foul language, which is great because I know with AI, it can be very scary to what your students have access to, but in this case, it's tailored for students in particular. So once you do that, you're going to launch your session. And from there, it'll give you two options. It'll be a live link that you can utilize. So that's what we're going to be using by today because you are with me on Teams. But for your classroom, it's probably better if you assign it to your Google Classroom. So you will assign it to your Google Classroom, and your students will have access to it. They will see the same thing that you see right now, but of course it's set up for a later time. And once they do that, it's going to prompt a black screen. The black screen is basically telling you that your student has already initiated that session that you've created. And Sidekick will always go first, meaning they will start or initiate the conversation. And they will always go through it by either asking them questions or making it fun for them to be able to socialize. So once they do that, like I mentioned, it does have the ability to where they receive an audio feedback. So they can do a text to speech. So they can read out loud. So if your students, let's say you have a fourth grade class, but your students are reading at a first grade level, so they can't read maybe what Sidekick is saying because it's tailored to a fourth grade lesson. They're able to click on speak and listen to what Sidekick was wanting to, or the message that he is trying to put out. And they also have the option to reply using their voice, which is also really important if we have students that have that accommodation in their IEPs, then that's something that they're able to use, the speech to text. The only thing I will remind you is once you log in, you're going to see a little setting here in the top right corner. You have to select a language. And the moment you select a language, you'll be able to use the microphone. My computer was blocking it in the morning. That was just my computer. I know all the other teachers that were on, they were saying that on their end it was working. So I think it's just something with my personal computer right now that's kind of blocking that. But like I said, we will be able to play with it. I will send you the links and stuff so that you can become interactive with it. So we're going to go from there. What's also really neat is you're able to go back and you will go back to the session that you initially started. And then what you will do is you will be able to see every conversation your student had. So for example, if in my conversation, Debbie and Miss Gomez log in, I could see their name and I could see everything that they were how they were interacting with the website, what kind of questions they were asking, and it will also give me a somewhat of a feedback of how they did. So for example, let's say Debbie was on task and she was asking all the questions, but then maybe every now and then she was asking questions that were off topic. It will let me know. Let's just say that Ms. Gomez maybe didn't understand the concept very well. It will let you know. Struggled concept in this area, but maybe mastered on this side. So I think that's really neat, especially when you're just trying to get feedback, kind of like an exit ticket, but it's something that you're able to do separately. So that's fantastic. Another thing we're going to see is we're going to do the Video Explorer. And so the Video Explorer, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to grab YouTube links. Okay, and the YouTube links, then we will be able to put them into our converter and they will convert the videos for us and they will be able to ask questions. This is more of an activity that you're able to assign to them. I do recommend that you do not exceed more than 2 to 3 minutes or 3 to 4 minutes just because it's something that's going to be fast and quick, and you don't want to have them sitting there on the computer all day. It does the same thing as it would on Sidekick. So I'm going to show you real quick. You insert the URL that you're going to be utilizing. It'll give you a it will give you the the URL or the Google Classroom link. It will do the same thing like it had done with Sidekick. And then once your students are ready, they will see that the conversation will take place on the left side and the video will play on the right. Now, if you notice, there's two blue dots. The two blue dots indicate that, those will be the two sections where it will stop. So that's where that's where AI will kind of kick in and ask them a question to see if they're paying attention, and see what kind of questions they're asking. Another really neat thing about it is, for example, if I start to ask questions, and let's say it's myself and Ms. Gomez, I'm picking on Ms. Gomez because Ms. Gomez is from our school. But so Ms. Gomez is asking really, in-depth questions, and she's going all out on the questions. And so it'll tell me, you know what, Ms. Gomez is asking in-depth questions as compared to Jeanette. She was just answering yes or no questions or just surface level questions. That's also really important to know. And it's neat to have, especially because if you have some sort of observation and you want to kind of have that feedback for your principal, that's something that you have on there to be able to provide for them. And then you, like I said, you will be able to go back and see that. You'll go through the Video Explorer, you'll click on the session that we have, and then it'll give you, let me see if I put that on there. Yeah, so if you notice here, in this particular session, since I was the one that was doing the trial, you will see that I entered, and then I was the one that came in, and then this is what it said. So student actively participated, showed understanding of the video content, and accurately answered the questions. However, they do not make connections to other learned materials or ask insightful questions. So that kind of gives you an idea already of how the conversation that you're about to read is going to kind of go through it. Yes, you're correct, Ms. Gomez. It does have a lot of, you're able to use this for Telpis and a lot of those different things. And so try to keep an open mind when you're listening to the presentation, and see how you're able to make those connections and share with us, because at the end of the day, we're learning from each other. We just can't figure it all out on your own, but that's a great point to make. Thank you, Ms. Gomez, for sharing. So like I said, we're going to go into in depth right now. I'm just kind of quickly showing you what we're going to be seeing right now. And then lastly, it's tools. These are more just for you to utilize in the classroom to help with lesson planning, maybe you need something for IPs, maybe you want to create a class newsletter, story word problems. That one's really neat. I will show you that in just a bit. You're able to make quizzes. Thank you, Ms. Chacon. Thank you so much. And I love that you love it. And right now, when we start getting interactive, you'll get a little bit more excited on it. And so, like I said, the tools, they have many different options that you're able to utilize. Like I said, it's more for you, not necessarily for your students. But this is another tool that we'll be able to have. And like I said, in a second, I'm going to start sharing everything with you, and you'll be able to play with it. Okay. So now we're going to go back real quick, and we are going to start by logging in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the link, and I'm going to put it in the chat so that you're able to join as well. And like I mentioned, you will go through and you will sign in using your PSJA credentials, okay? Morning, it was slow, so just kind of be patient with me. Oh, it's fast right now, good. Okay. So like I said, we're going to go as the order in which I had presented in the PowerPoint. We are going to go through the Sidekick. So once you log in, it's going to take you to this section right here. And then I'm going to go to Sidekick. You can open it on your end. I suggest that you have one window open with the actual school AI and the next with the, or right next to it, or if you have a separate screen, put Teams. That way you can kind of go comparison on both sides, okay? So this is the one where we can assign a topic for our students. And then from there, we will be able to tailor it to whatever it is that we're focusing on. So I'm going to pretend that we're going to do life cycles of a butterfly. So you will discuss the life cycle of a butterfly. Okay, we're going to keep it very simple because we're just starting off. Okay, we're just starting off. So I don't want you to feel intimidated by it, like, oh, I have to write all these different things. No, as you get better at it and as you start to use it more frequently, then it'll become easier for you and you will know exactly what to add on there. Then we're going to go to more options because I want to tailor it for my students. Okay. So class description, let's say I'm teaching a 3rd grade bilingual class. Okay. The reason for bilingual class, I'm just letting it know that there may be some students that may require it to respond in Spanish, just in case that's something that the computer needs to know and you feel more, or it's better for your students so that they know that they have that opportunity on there. How would you like Sidekick to interact with them? Well, I want him to be encouraging, and allow them to ask questions and inquire over various stages of the life cycle. Okay, and now I can put a rule for them. Well, my rule is I do not accept yes or no questions. Oh, sorry, responses. And do not answer off-topic questions. Okay. So I've already put this in there. I've given it the rules. I've given it all the different sequences that I want him to take. And then I'm going to click launch. Like I said, this is where you will get a pop-up and it will ask you, do you want a live link or do you want to share on Google Classroom? Again, this is your personal use, whatever you feel more comfortable in and whatever you want to, or however you want to work it out. I am going to use the space code, but just because I can use copy. Now, if you have kinder, pre-K, and your babies have iPads, this is also great because all they have to do is just put it up. It shows them the little QR code. They scan it and they're in, and there's no typing required. Because remember, then they will be able to interact with their voice. Okay, so I'm going to share that code with you, and I'm going to open the code on my end as well. So remember, once you log in, I'm able to see how many students are logging in. So for example, if you have 20 students and you go back and you see that there's no participants, then you know your students are off task from the beginning, okay? And then, or if you pair them up, well, you say, you know what, I had 20, I put them in groups of 2, so I should have at least 10 participants on there. You will be able to see that as well. Okay, so as you notice, Ms. Gomez has already logged in and you will start to see everyone else that's joining logging in on that site. Okay, now if you notice, they still have not started interacting because it says they're just getting started and it's grayed out. The moment that they start to type and they start interacting with the program, then you will see where these little happy faces will light up and the wording will change. Okay, and so this is probably what you have. It'll ask them for their name. They type in their name and they click join. So we have our little sidekicks kind of going on here. And so I'm going to show you what I meant. First, before they start, make sure that they add the language, English, especially if you use this the first time and you want your kids to kind of play with it a little bit more. Allow them to listen to it and to speak with it. I mean, it's not something that's going to be that difficult, especially because you can hear them interacting with it. So every now and then allow them to use that. I mean, they have that available. And after typing for so long, I know they get tired. That's reasonable. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click speak, and you will be able to see that or hear that he or she will respond to you.
Hello. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating life cycle of a butterfly. Let's dive into the different stages together. What do you know about how a butterfly grows and changes over time?
And so this is a question. Maybe I had a student that's in 3rd grade, but they're reading at a kinder level. This is probably not something they would be able to read, but now they are at the same level as everybody else and able to participate at that same level as everybody else. I'm going to try my microphone. There is a possibility that it will not work because I'm on Teams or because something's blocking it, but on your end, it might work. So for example, I know that the butterfly, okay, so you see on my end, it's not working. Try it on your end. It might work. Unless it's also doing the same thing where it's not letting you log in because of Teams or if something is blocking your computer. But I know earlier they said it was working for them. So it could just be me. Now, like I mentioned, you are also able to change it to Spanish. So I can go back into language. I can click Spanish and then I can type. Lo podrías repetir en español. So now you notice the same message that they gave me on top, I'm now able to receive it in Spanish. And the conversation from then on will be in Spanish. Okay? So like I said, this is very friendly for our students, especially because most of us teach in a bilingual setting. Our students are able to receive the same information, interact the same way, utilizing the same exact website, which is great because I know a lot of the times we're all looking for something for our bilingual students and something's missing. So this is something that they have. So I'm going to come back over here and okay. So now as you notice, I can go through and I can check and I could see exactly what the students are typing. So for example, Jeanette asked if they could repeat it in Spanish. And then Miss Beatriz says, I'm interested in knowing. And so this is another thing where you can focus on. Like Miss Gomez says, help us. You need to write in complete sentences. This is great practice. Make sure that you're responding in complete sentences because I can see you. You can click on it and you can see exactly what is going on. So Beatriz is just getting started. The student asked a relevant question about the egg stage and engaged with the topic, showing good proficiency. And then I can see exactly what she's asking as you go through. And you're able to do that for all of your students. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or made any connections so far? How are we doing? Okay. Okay. So like I said, this is the portion with Sidekick on it. Okay, so this is where you assign a topic for them, you give it specific directions, and then from there, the students will be able to interact. It's almost like you're going to tell them you're going to text your friend. Their friend is Sidekick. Okay, I want to say, no, yeah. Okay, so Sidekick is a girl. I thought it was a boy. Sorry, it's a girl. But yeah, so this is the portion with Sidekick. Already? So now we're going to close this out. Sorry. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the video editor. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click on, you're going to go back to School AI, just click on that top part and it'll take you back to that home page, I guess you could call it. You go back into your home page and then you're going to click on spaces here on the top in the middle, and then you will go to discover. And this is where you will find your video explorer. Okay, you're going to click on Video Explorer. This was really easy. You don't need to do much because it's going to go based off of the level, the proficiency level of that particular video. So if I'm pulling out a chemistry lesson that's available on YouTube and it's tailored for a 9th grader, it's going to give them information at that level unless a child requests to speak in a simpler form. Okay. So we're going to go into YouTube. And we're going to focus on density right now. And so intensity with bowling balls. Now, I was going through the lessons that we had for science, and I had liked one particular video, and that's the video that we were going to use today. But the video does not work. The video does not work because a lot of the times the creators of the video have certain locks on their video, and so it might not be able to play back. So when I try to put this video in, it did not work. But what I'm going to do is I looked for another video, and like I said, don't leave it to where it's 20 minutes long. Like you could see, this video is probably very good. It's very informative, but it's 23 minutes long. We're going to try to avoid that. Okay, so just give them something short. So then I found this video right here. It's about 3 minutes long. We're going to click on that. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to copy video URL. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go back to my Video Explorer, and I'm going to paste that on there. Okay, so as you can see, I now have that URL. I'm going to click launch. Like I said, this one is a lot easier. You don't really have to do much to it. You just put the link for the video, and that's it. The program will do everything else for you. But like I mentioned, for your Video Explorer, again, it's going to ask you, do you want to share using the space code or the Google Classroom? If you have babies and they have iPads, it's better if you use a space code because it has a QR code on there. If your students are older and they have a Google Classroom and you use it frequently, then it's better if you assign it to a Google Classroom, okay? In this case, we're just going to use that. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to send it over to you all so you can engage with it. And I will open it on my end. Again, you're able to see that right now I just sent it. I don't have any participants. Once the participants start to come in, then I will see that participation will go up. So I'm going to come in. It's going to ask me for my name. And the reason for that is so that you know exactly who is submitting work and who is engaging with the website. Okay. So I'm going to put my name again. I'm going to click join. Don't be shy if you have questions or if you have anything on there, let me know. The more you ask, the more I can answer and the more we learn, okay? So don't feel like you can't. Sorry, mine was a little, try to. So I could see that some of you are already in. And like it says, you just open it, you're just getting started. But I know that at least these kiddos have started working on that and they're on task. So let me in. You do have the same opportunities to listen to what it's interacting with you, and you're able to speak into it the same way that you were when you were working on the Sidekick, okay? So here, this is super tiny, maybe just because I'm older, but I can't see it. Maybe our kiddos have better eyes than we do, right? But you can expand it, you can make it larger. And these are the little dots that I was telling you about. This is where the program is going to stop to engage with them. So always tell them to wait, not to work on it right away, but to see what Sidekick was asking them. Because usually it's more of like an essential question that they're starting with, or they just want to know some background knowledge just to kind of get them moving. And so, hey, glad you're here. We're about to dive into some cool science with floating bowling balls. Ever wonder what makes heavy stuff like airplanes float? Let's find out together. Ready to hit play? And then they can just click yes. We're all excited. And they will submit it. And then that's when it'll tell them, okay, now you can click start. And so as you notice, it gives you the name of the person that's doing it. So the moment that you upload this onto the website, it's already watched the whole video. It's processed everything that's going on. It knows everything. It knows everything that you're working on. So that just makes it easier for the students to engage with, and that way they know the content that's that they're working with. And so we're going to keep watching the video. We're going to pretend that we've been watching all of this section right here.
Or less than 26.7 inches. Oh, they all have to be the same.
Obviously, do not allow them to move forward. This is just something that we're doing right now. But like as you notice, it stopped and now it's going to ask them questions. So interesting, right? Why do you think the 12-pound bowling ball floats instead of sinking? Consider its weight. And then they can either answer correctly or they can answer incorrectly. So I think ball floats, and you can, I'm going to respond way off because it's blue. They send it, and then that's where they start to do that whole redirecting. So as you notice, it uses humor. So color would be a fun way to determine floating. Again, she's being encouraging to the students. But it's actually about how closely packed the stuff inside the ball is or its density. If the ball is less dense than the water, it floats. What do you think about the idea that it's not just about weight, but what's inside that counts? And so as you notice, it's always ending with a question because it wants the students to be able to engage and continue that conversation as compared to just stopping the conversation right there and there's no engagement between AI and the students. So is everybody okay with that? Does everybody understand that? Do we have any questions or ideas of how we could use this? I see Miss Chacon is typing something out. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to kind of play with it. I know some of y'all are working on that. Like I said, this is another tool within that website that you're able to use. It's not the same as Sidekick. They're two different sections. Yes, exactly, Ms. Chacon. So it does keep them processing, right? Because a lot of the times, even when we're talking, and we're usually just respond, like we get a question and we ask one student, even if we're just cold calling, but we're still leaving all those other kids out. In this, they're all doing the same activity, but everyone is responsible for their own questions and their own responses because AI will never really truly be the same. So maybe I got a question and somebody else across the room has a totally different question that's being asked to them, but it's still pertaining to the same video. Okay. And then at the end, you can have them share because maybe the way it was worded on my end is very different than what it was in Miss Alina's class. So Miss Alina, can I do maybe like a think pair share and say, you know what, I learned that it was, it's tightly packed inside the bowling ball. It's not necessarily the weight. But maybe with Miss Salinas, it was something else that was worded. So that's important that you always give them that time to reflect and go back onto what they were initially talking about. Alrighty. So like I said, this is the Video Explorer. I love that everyone works at their level, no waste of time. They're always on task and learning. Exactly. And that's what we're trying to avoid. And I know sometimes it's pretty much impossible. It's just one of us and we have various amounts of students, but we also want all of them to be responsible for their own learning and responsible for responding and not just waiting for others to respond. So yeah, there's just no waste of time. Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Gomez. All right, and so we're going to do one more thing. We are going to go through the tools that they have available. Let me exit this out. So we're going to click on School AI. This little tab right here will take us back. And so if you notice on my end right here, the little happy face, it means, okay, I'm slowly starting to actually interact with it. I did fairly well. It's a little happy face that comes out. So just kind of keeping it out there. So once we go in, we're going to click on tools. We're going to click on tools, and you're going to see all of these great different tools that are coming out. This is very similar to Magic School. If any of you have ever used Magic School, they have a similar layout where they have different resources also available that you're able to engage with. Like I said, you're able to, if you're in resource, I know Miss Rivas was in here earlier. If she needs help creating IEPs, she's able to do that. If you need a quick quiz that you want to give your students and you want it to be multiple choice, you have that on there. Story word problems, if you're a math teacher, this would be great. If you're going to do a gallery walk and you just don't want to break your head over the different problems, because sometimes I know your brain is fried and you really don't have much energy to kind of come up with different word problems that you don't want to use the ones in the curriculum because you will eventually use those. You can use that. And so what's really neat about it is, one, it's going to tailor it to our standards, your grade level, and the subject that you're working on. And it will keep all of the documents saved. So for example, for the story word problems, I have 4 documents that I've already generated that I can go back and check on. So we're going to start off with that story word problem. You won't have anything if you haven't engaged with it. I do, just because we were working on it this morning, and when I was getting ready for my presentation, I was playing around with them. And so I'm going to click on the 4 documents that I have available. And so the first one I had done where it was going to be a 5th grade, it was a 5th grade TEK on measurement and fractions, and I wanted them to include lemonade, right? So the first time I generated it, and what's really neat is it'll generate it as many times as you need. I think you have like a limit of 120 generation opportunities to generate a day. So it gave me this format. I wasn't really crazy about it. So what I did is I did a regeneration on that. So if you get a prompt, so for example, in this case, it was 5th grade fractions, measurements of lemonade. I wanted 4 questions, and then I gave it the standard that I wanted to apply. And then I just clicked regenerate. When I did that, it opened up this document, and I thought it was so much better. And I'm going to show you why. This one separated them already. The other one looks that way, but because I had separated them, it was just kind of like, it looked like all in code and it was all together. So I had to divide it. So I was like, this is too much work. There's no reason why I need to be breaking my head all that much if it's already getting it to me. So it's going to use your name, and it's going to use your school or anything that's pertaining to your credentials. So don't freak out if you see that it says Marcia Garza. Like, how does this thing know that I'm in Marcia Garza? Because you use your credentials, okay? Your credentials, they have all that information attached to it. So that's what it's going based off of, which is why you see that it has my name on mostly all of the problems, or my school name, okay? And so Jeanette has 4 liters of lemonade. She wants to pour the lemonade into cups, with each cup holding half a liter. How many cups of lemonade will Jeanette fill? Again, this is editable. Let's say, obviously, I don't want my name to be on all of these. I don't want my name in any of these because I'm going to share them with my students. Maybe you want to put their name more personal to them. So you can delete it. Mateo. And then, okay, now this is the problem that I want to be able to use. Now, these are open-ended, okay? It's not going to give them answer choices. If you want answer choices to go with it, then you will create a quiz on the multiple choice tool, okay? So this is one. And then I'm going to show you the one that we did this morning, and I'll do one with you right now. But what I did is, for the first 3, I had to use the same standard. For this one, I selected 3 different standards. So for the standard, what I really liked was that it gave me the standard, and then it gave me the problem that went with that standard. So for example, problem 1 goes with standard 3.6C. Problems 2 and 3 go with standard 3.4E. So for example, if you know you're having an observation and your principal wants to know exactly what you are going to be working on, or what your students are learning, the standard, the problem, you have it all right here. So I think this is really, really awesome. because it's very simple to use. It gives me the problem. And of course, this is not something that you're just going to copy paste, but it's already done for you. Some of these are really, really awesome. And they do have, you really don't need to change much. Yes, Miss Olvera, I'm glad that you liked it. And so we had gone to a conference in, I believe it was March, and she was talking about how AI is basically here to say it's not going anywhere. So you might as well use it to your advantage. But that also comes with a big responsibility. You're not just going to copy paste everything you see. You need to read it and you need to make sure that what it's saying, one, is relevant to what you are teaching. For the most part, it will be. But you also want it to have your voice. You don't want everything just regenerated for you. You want to add it, you want to add some of your spice on there to make it more friendly to your students. Maybe the wording is really difficult. You know, you may be teaching fourth grade, but maybe your students are at a second grade level. That's something that you want to be able to utilize. You have bilingual students, maybe it's asking them for something like, I don't know, like a wench. And they're like, what is a wench? I don't know what a wench is. If they haven't had those experiences, you can't use that vocabulary. So kind of be just mindful to that. AI is great, but it also comes with a big responsibility as us as teachers to just kind of go back. I mean, it already did the heavy work for you. Now just kind of condense it and make it a little bit easier and more attainable to your students. And so that's the way it works. And now I'm going to show you how to generate them. So I'm going to come back over here. Okay. And I'm going to click on generate. Again, we're still in the story word problems. I'm going to click generate because I'm going to do a new template. Okay. So we're going to do fourth grade. And then Ms. Gomez, I don't know if you can give me something that you all cover in fourth grade. Anything, it doesn't matter what it is. I've never
Like
taught fourth
writing,
grade.
editing, or something for
Try to do
math.
something from math. Try to do
Okay,
something from
for
math.
math, decimals.
All right, decimals. Perfect. Thank you so much. So we're going to do decimals. Let's say that I'm going to work with 5 different questions that I want him to generate. And then
Decimals to tenths and hundreds. We only go up to tenths and hundreds.
Okay.
With the TH.
Okay, so it's 10 hundredths, correct? The worst speller in the world. Sorry, guys. Here. Okay. And so decimals, and then here we can put, I don't know, let's talk about lemonade again. I don't know. And then this is where I'm telling you that you are able to select your grade level and your standard. So you go down, you do the drop down menu. We're in Texas. So you will go down, you will find Texas. And then I'm going to select fourth grade. And then of course I am doing math. Sorry, it froze on me. Okay. We're going to select for math. And as you notice, either the 2006 to 2012, well, that's a little older. I'm going to click on the newer one. And then from here, you're able to use a strand, or I can look for, I'm going to do decimals, and then this is what they have available. So all of these standards are what's going with our decimals, okay? And so right here, what she was saying, including tenths and hundredths, I'm going to select that one. And then I'm going to click this one as well. It says represent fractions and decimals to tenths and hundredths, okay? So then I've already done that. If you notice now, all of my information is filled out, and I'm going to click generate. It gives you your objective, and then it provides the problem that you have, the solution for it, and it tells you how to work it out as well. So for example, if you have a sub that day, this would be great. Have a sub that day and they have no idea. Maybe this is something that you can leave for them. But let's say this is not exactly what you were looking for. You wanted a different mix. You can regenerate again. The cool thing is it's not going to erase this for you. It's just going to add it to that, I guess, all the files that you've already done. So I want to do it again. So I'm going to put over here, fourth grade. I'm going to change the title just so that I know decimals. just so that I know it's that. I'm gonna regenerate because I want to see a different format. Let's see if it gives me a different format. And you could do it as many times as you want, like I said. So it gave me the same thing. You can continue to regenerate as many times as you want, but you already know exactly what you're working on. It's giving you objectives. Every time it's going to be different just because it's going based off of just all the things that they know and maybe settings that they've done before, but you have that on there, okay? So like I said, this would be for the word problem tool. Again, there's many, many different tools that they have available, which I think is perfect. Let me go back. If you say, you know what, that's really awesome, but I want them to have some sort of multiple choice because we're going to play 4 corners, then you can do the same thing, but you could do it with your multiple choice questions. You can, again, on all of them, you will click generate and you will try to indicate and be as specific as you can be on the descriptions. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or any comments or maybe some light bulb moments that went off as you were going through these, or do you see how it could be beneficial to you in your classroom? You can turn on your mics and speak. I don't mind. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and I'm glad that you could see how it'd be beneficial to you all. Like I said, I mean, it has stuff for all kinds of different things. Thank you, Miss Rivas. I'm glad. And like I mentioned, I know Miss Rivas, or I think it's the Miss Rivas from our campus, right? Or Miss Rivas from our campus. Miss Rivas.
Yeah,
Yes.
hi.
Giving you away to somebody else. But Miss Rivas also has to put IP goals together. If she ever kind of gets stuck in when she's trying to write a goal or anything like that, she's able to come in here, kind of give an estimate of what they need, and it can generate it for her. A lot of the times we do so many different things that we get stuck and we just say, how do I word this again? Again, it's not copying it. You're getting ideas, you're trying to find ways to include them into your classroom to make it better for your parents. They have all kinds of stuff, letters of recommendation if you have a syllabus, a class newsletter if you didn't have it before but you want one now. It's going to be an easy way to do it. They just have all kinds of stuff. And so, but I'm so glad that you're able to see how you're able to include it in everything, right? It's not just for math, it's not just for science, it's not just for reading. I mean, you can use it all across. I'm so glad that you all are enjoying it and you have enjoyed it. I didn't realize it went by a lot faster this time. But like I said, if you have any questions or if you start playing around with it and say, oh, I got stuck, send me a message. Like I said, I'm going to send this to you. Let me go back to the end. So in a second, we'll put out, I think, yes, Debbie already put out the sorry, the survey link for you all to utilize. This is session 59, Exploring Creative Spaces with School AI. Thank you so much for joining. Leave any feedback on there. I learned from you. I've done this for a couple years now, and so based on what other people have responded, this is how I'm able to continue presenting to you all. And I love this. I love technology. It's my baby that if I could, I would do it all the time. So yeah, just let me know. Like I said, feel free. I'm going to send you this PowerPoint presentation in just a bit. If you want to contact me, let me know. This is my email address. You can Teams me. You can email me, preferably Teams. It's easier for me. I can get it on my phone. So yeah, so turn on your camera so we can all take a picture for Miss Debbie over here. Be nice to see the people that I was talking to. There you go. Look at all those pretty faces.
We
Hello,
want to see some
hello.
pretty faces.
Yes. Don't be
If we
shy.
have
Don't
any
be shy.
takers, if you're not in your pajamas and you're wanting to, nobody
okay.
has to, but If you'd like to or can, we would like to do a
Even if
picture.
you're in your pajamas, we'll take it. But yeah, I'm
True,
so
I
glad
don't
that you all
care.
were able to join. Yeah, we don't judge. We don't judge. There you go. Hello, hello, Miss Salinas. Miss Rivas is ready. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. We know it's been a long day, but I'm hopeful that you were able to get some new resources in and you're able to take it back to your class this year.
Any
I
other
think Sim just
takers to
talked.
turn cameras on?
Last call, everyone.
Did you take the pic
There you go.
already?
We haven't taken it yet. Jeanette, can you stop sharing for a minute? Then we can
Yes.
get a whole screenshot. And then if you want to
There
share
you
again
go.
after that, we can.
There you go. You all were not in your pajamas. I love it. You're just making us think that you were.
Okay. Everybody smile. Awesome. I'll post it in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. You have
Thank
a great
you.
weekend and a great 2024-2025 school year. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jeanette.
Thank you, Debbie, for joining us. Let me put this in the chat.
Great job. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate all that info. It's really packed
Thank
and
you.
clear and concise and to the point. So truly appreciate you. Have a great
Thank you
weekend.
so much. You too, if you need anything, I'm just a teens
I
away.
know who to reach out to now.
Yes, come on over.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jeanette. I'm trying to listen to two, so I didn't get to hear everything, but I do like that tool. It is a cool one.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. Thanks for hanging out with us here and there.
Thank you. And we'll
Thank you,
see you
Jeanette.
on
It was
Monday.
it
Thank
was
you.
awesome. I
Bye, Miss
loved it. I'll be
Gomez.
calling you. I'll be calling you.
Perfect.
soon.
Perfect. I'm here.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye. And yes, Debbie, we'll see you on Monday.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna hop off so I can get a picture on the other one.
Sounds perfect.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Miss Mijares.
Sorry, I heard Miss Mijares and then I clicked end. Sorry. Are you still here, Miss Garcia?
Yes, I'm sorry. Bye.
Sorry, I just heard Miss Mijares and I had just clicked it. I was like, hold on, I heard my name.
Okay, bye-bye.